My name's Elliot King. I'm a co-founder, was a co-founder of what was MintTwist. I founded the agency, which is a digital marketing agency principally. Co-founded that agency with a best friend from school called Alexis Pratsides in about 2007. We grew from a 2-person startup in 2007 to a 27-person, all singing, all dancing agency in 2021. And very recently, we've been, acquired thanks to the support and help of Kingsbrook. I have absolutely no hesitation whatsoever in recommending Kingsbrook. Absolutely no hesitation, and I would wholeheartedly recommend you speak with Kingsbrook. Now, what we did, and I would recommend that everyone do this, is there are players in the market, and I would recommend that you speak to those players, but make sure you speak to Kingsbrook, because if you do have proper conversations with the players in the market, and you come to the same conclusion as I did, it's very, very clear that what Kingsbrook promise is a process. They don't promise a price, they don't promise a number, but they promise a process, and they will hold your hand through that process. And if you follow the process, you will end up with the best deal, and that should be the best number. And it was in meeting the principals, at Kingsbrook, and going to Kingsbrook and meeting the people who I would actually be working with on a day-to-day basis, it gave me the confidence that they would actually deliver, on what they said. I also had the benefit of hearing some stories of people who'd been through the process before me, and I knew some of these people, and I spoke with them, and the feedback was very strong. So all of that gave me the confidence to engage Kingsbrook on what can be a very lengthy process. And having come out the other side, it's I can say certainly in our case, Kingsbrook delivered on what they said. I mean everything I say here. My recommendation for Kingsbrook, was baked in right at the start of this process. I was so impressed with every aspect of this service, and I've just got to call out Luke in particular, who not only was exceptionally professional and calm and accurate in his advice. Over the period of time that we were working together, I've come to see him as a friend. You have to put an enormous amount of trust in whoever you're working with on a process like this. And it was very sort of quick into the process that I realized that Luke was someone who I absolutely could trust with this sort of momentous project. And coming through this process now on the other side, I consider him a close personal friend that I will stay in touch with going forward. No, we didn't. It was they're a relatively large player in our industry, but they operate more in the PR space, whereas we're in the digital world. So we weren't particularly familiar with them until we were introduced, via this process. Fin Partners are a global communications company. They're actually, although they're relatively large, they're a 100 million turnover company globally, and they've got offices all over the US and emerging offices in Europe and in the Middle East and in Southeast Asia. So they're big, they've got a big footprint, but they're relatively young. They've only been going since about 2011, and they've been growing through acquisition. So yeah, it was in many ways the perfect fit from a strategic perspective. The research process, from our perspective, meaning the owners of MintTwist, so Alexis and I, was and is absolutely fundamental and crucial to the success of the process. Can I just digress for a moment to answer this question properly? Because I think when we first started speaking with Kingsbrook and other versions of Kingsbrook, our question was, what is the value of our business? And you can kind of apply lots of different formulas. But the truth is, and this really sort of came to light once we started speaking with Kingsbrook, we understood that the value of our business is what someone is prepared to pay for it. And so the research process, it's very intensive, and it requires a lot of requires a lot of input, and then the Kingsbrook team will go away and do a lot of work, and they'll come back in our case with I think about 70 interested parties. And then you go through a process, and that was whittled down to about 12 seriously interested parties. And because of the fact that you do that research, you're contacting hundreds or even thousands, you're getting 50 interested, and then you're getting 12 seriously interested. You kind of create this, I guess, competitive tension, which actually allows us as the seller to get the right price, and hopefully that's also the best price. And so the research phase of the project was arduous, and it took a long time, but particularly looking back now, I think it was probably the most crucial phase of the whole process. Other than speak with Kingsbrook, I joke, but I educated myself a lot about sort of how this could work by speaking with Kingsbrook and others. And what really resonated was this process that Kingsbrook have. And it starts with the research, and then you've got the first meetings, and then you've got the serious meetings. And it really is, it's like a marketing funnel. So you are marketing your own business. And the best way to market your own business is to reach the largest amount of possible interested buyers you can, and then whittle down to those that are interested and are able. Neither Alexis or I wanted to leave the company. We're not the serial entrepreneur type. So the sorts of partner that we were looking for would want to retain us. In some ways, I'm doing the same job, albeit, there's different people that I have to interact with, and there's some new aspects. But what has changed significantly is this risk off thing. So from a personal perspective, I feel like I have a lot more freedom. There's a lot more plans that I can make for the future around even things like, summer holidays with the family and kids. Traditionally, that's not really something I've been able to plan particularly. It's always been something that I've had to sort of throw in last minute. And so on a personal level, I feel a lot freer, and that's, I guess, allowed me to feel happier in on a personal level. So yeah, it's been all positive. The change has been all positive.